Hello and welcome to Processing Risk Live. This is your host, Tony Cañas, and we are recording. When I say live, we're recording in person, but we're not transmitting this live. We are recording at Insurtech Hartford Symposium 2023 at the Mohegan Sun Casino, an hour from Hartford. And today I have with me the guys from Lazarus. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Tony, first, nice to see you again. So this is Ariel Elizarov. He's our CEO. He's the brains of this.
Awesome. So you're the look. You're the looks.
You know, listen,
I got the cool suit.
I cannot match to your looks, so I'm trying. I'm
gonna say so. So what's your first Ariel? Ariel, I do have to say, if you need to sell anything in a very conservative industry, hiring a long-haired foreign hippie, in my opinion, it's one of the best strategies there are.
You see, it pays off. It took me a while.
By the way, for the listeners, we are recording with two cameras. We have my laptop over here hooked up to this microphone, and then we have my phone on a gimbal, which I'm hand holding. I'm not sure how we will mix both videos, but that's why you have a multicam setup, just so you guys know what this looks like. Okay, awesome. So, well, first of all, thank you so much for scheduling this. Normally, I use a Calendly to schedule podcast recordings, and I don't accept any meetings at conferences because I forget. So not only did they go out of the way to schedule this, but they reminded me every half hour on the hour for the last 2 days, so we managed to make this happen. So we always give the guests a chance to give the elevator pitch. What is Lazarus?
Yeah, I can give you the rundown. So Lazarus is an advanced document understanding company. So we use large language models to help companies do document understanding. That's a whole lot of buzzwords, but what that effectively means is you can take any document, ask any question on top of that document or set of questions, and get out answers. So you can turn a 200-page medical record PDF into a 5-sentence summary with every condition, every medication, and every time the patient stubbed their toe in the OR, listed out in the output, or really whatever you want the output to be.
Okay, and we are recording this on May 3rd of year one of our Lord ChatGPT. Given the tools that are now available to everybody, why can't I just grab that HIPAA protected document and throw it into ChatGPT and API it to my Guidewire or whatever system I'm using?
You've answered half of that question. So because it's HIPAA protected, tools like GPT-4, GPT 3.5 really cannot and should not handle that kind of data. But the main stuff, number one, if you're working with like a 500-page PDF, it's way too big to fit in the context window for GPT-4.
Okay.
Which is the largest.
Even the paid version.
Yes.
Okay.
That's 32,000 tokens. If you can fit 500 pages, 32,000 tokens, 499 of those pages are blank.
Okay.
But the other component of it is, so GPT-4 and models like it are really good at understanding text kind of one token after the other.
Mm-hmm.
Not very good at understand text in 2 dimensions. So, and unfortunately, documents are in 2 dimensions. So you have tokens, aka words, and where they're located. And Rikai is built to understand that. Rikai is the name of our large language model.
Okay.
And so because of that, it works really well on documents. But given that it's designed exclusively for documents and pulling data out of documents, it cannot write a haiku about a medical record. So if you need to write a haiku about a medical record, other models might be better.
I have to say, ChatGPT did a fantastic job when I asked it about writing a haiku about insurance careers. So I will include that here in when I edit this. Okay, so no haikus of the medical record.
Nope.
That's right.
Is that coming in the next version?
Might be.
Okay, perfect. If there are enough requests for haikus about medical records, okay, so it can't write a haiku, but it can help my system much more easily digest that complicated record and HIPAA protected record.
Yeah, and it'll tell you the truth. So Rikai's got a sub 1% hallucination rate, which doesn't make sense.
Okay. So hallucination. I love how this word. I mean, we've used it like when it comes to people going crazy or using drugs or whatever. But I love how it's come into our space in the last like 6 months. So For the listeners who haven't been on top of the ChatGPT stuff, what is hallucination?
Yeah. So language models are, at the end of the day, glorified autocomplete, right? They identify what the next word in a sentence is supposed to be generated, and they do that. When they get big enough, they can understand structures and they can understand patterns better, so they can seem more human-like. The way that ChatGPT was trained and the way that our model was trained was through this process called reinforcement learning with human feedback. And what that just boils down to is a human said, good job, bad job, on all the outputs for the model, up until the point that the model kind of was selected or self-selected and was self-trained into, in the case of ChatGPT, acting like a person chatting with you, answering instructions, filling in information, things like that. The problem with that is if you tune it to understand instructions and to act human and to give human-like responses. So if your barrier for entry is human level responses that can trick somebody else, it starts to do things like lie. That's what hallucination is. It's not actively lying to you on purpose. It's just making stuff up that doesn't actually exist. Because of the way Rikai was trained, it can't do a lot of those more advanced things like make a haiku, but it hallucinates at a sub 1% rate compared to GPT-4 7% and GPT 3.5's. I think it's like 16%.
7%.
Yeah, wait until they're gonna start tripping.
So Rika does sub
1%.
Sub 1%.
Yep. That's right.
So less than 1/7 the hallucinations that that a ChatGPT does.
Well, that's what makes it commercially viable.
Yep.
Right?
Yes,
Like,
of
we're
course.
talking about like real business use.
Okay.
So solving a problem of extracting information from the documents.
Okay.
We really want it to be factual. We don't want it to be, hallucinating, this or that when you're making a business call.
Yeah.
Okay. That's super interesting. How did you come up with the idea of building this thing?
Okay, so we had to actually, so we used to be a completely different company. We used to make AI models for skin cancer, clinical decision support, basically helping doctors figure out like, hey, is this mole malignant or not? That entire industry got destroyed by regulation. And so when we had like 3 months of runway left, we had to figure out a product that would keep us from dying. And what we did is we took this old dusty thing that we had off the shelf, which we used to like clean up biopsy reports so that we can label our data. And it was designed to work with any document type, regardless of structure, because biopsy reports are not standardized. I suspect it's a pathologist wanting to make my life specifically harder. No, but they suck. So we had to make a tool that could work on all pathology reports. What we realized is later on, when we showed it to other people and they used it on their documents, it doesn't just work with every pathology report, it works with every document that we throw at it. And so we went down a little bit deeper. We replaced our main model, which was like a BERT-ish type model, with a large language model. And so in April of 2022, we started training it. It was finished training in November, like mid-November, like 2 weeks before ChatGPT launched. And for 2 whole weeks, we had to explain to people what the hell a large language model was. Then ChatGPT launched. We didn't have to explain shit to anybody.
That is amazing timing.
Yes.
And do you take credit for that timing, your crystal ball, or
we're business geniuses. That's how we did it.
Incredible luck.
No, incredible luck.
Okay.
Well, it's luck plus the technology got to a point where we could implement what we needed to implement, and we just so happened to do it at about the same time that somebody else was implementing something else with similar technology.
Okay, there is a word in evolution for two things evolving parallel to. It might even be parallel evolution. I don't remember, but
it's something like that. Yeah.
But basically, two animals or whatever evolving the same advantages geographically separate from each other. So basically the same idea. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. So Lazarus, if I'm not mistaken, it is a biblical story of a man that has died and Jesus resurrects him. So why did you choose the name Lazarus?
Do you want the marketing answer or the real answer?
Both.
Start with the marketing answer.
You can start with the marketing answer. Exactly.
We just simply bring documents to life.
Okay. And what's the real answer?
Okay. So when we started the company, we got a investor check before we had a company name.
Uh-huh.
My co-founder's name is Anish. His last name is Patel. Patel Inc. didn't sound super cool. Elizarov Inc., my last name, didn't sound super cool, but the Latinization of my last name, Lazarus, sounded neat.
Oh,
So
okay.
we picked that name, and then we sure as hell earned it when we came back from the dead as a company.
Oh my God, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fantastic. Okay. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Alex, so we met last year at ITC.
Yep.
Okay, and at that time, you were I might cut this part out. At that time, you were a corporate whore. At that time, you were with a very large
I was called a
consulting company.
corporate escort. So
Okay, perfect.
let's make
Yes,
that
But you were in
very
Vegas, right?
So, so at that time, you were at a very large consulting company.
Yep.
So you had a dream job, kind of like a great company.
I started really doing what I wanted to do all along, which is getting back into technology. And
Okay.
I was running the innovation team for
Uh-huh.
PwC on financial services.
Uh-huh.
And man, we've been trying to solve this problem for years.
So why leave a job like that to join a startup?
I kind of jumped the gun there, right?
So,
really-
he has been emailing his boss asking for forgiveness for the last 3 months.
Yes.
He's only been gone for less than a month.
I'm still on, sort of probation period. So when I left ITC after, you and I met because I wanted to, up on you on my socks.
Oh,
Remember,
okay,
that was
perfect,
the way we interacted
perfect.
the first time. So I got reached out by Keith, our growth leader. And Keith said, listen, we're trying to solve this problem and we think we've cracked the code on it. And I said, if you really think you do that, I'm absolutely interested. So, give me access. I want to test this thing out. And I think it took about 2 to 3 weeks. And then I got access in early December.
Mhm.
And I started playing with it. And I'm like, this thing is sort of unbelievable that it works. So I'm like, let's try to break it, which, I was kind of trying hard to break it. And, I was getting on a phone with Ariel and Keith, probably every 2 to 3 weeks. I was going to report back and everything. And then one day, I just throw this thing, a document in Romanian. So that's originally where I'm from. And I'm like, this is not going to work. And then I ask a question in Romanian. I get the response back accurately. And I'm like, what is this thing? Like, how can it do this?
Was it trained in Romanian at all?
Not my knowledge.
That is insane.
The fine-tuned one. So one of the models has 40 languages, and the other one has 140.
Okay.
The 140 language model definitely knows Romanian.
But that's not the one that Alex had access to.
Nope.
That is very scary. As in, like, I really hope that we make it to ITC Vegas for one last time before we inevitably get enslaved or annihilated as a species by generative AI.
So you just have to be kind to us, Tony. That's all it takes.
Okay, so
We'll let Ricky loose.
okay, so you threw in the document in
Yeah.
Romanian, expecting it not to work. Asked the question in Romanian, it worked.
It worked. Then I'm like, all right, so I got to talk to these guys. Like, something's going on here. Then we kept talking, and then I'm like, well, there's this thing has so many different possibilities to like redesign, how we do, our own, sort of client-related services, but the industry at large. So we've been just exploring ideas for a while, and then, I think Ariel one day you're telling me you should come and work with us. You really should. So I'm like, you know what? I think this is one of the things that I really wanted to do. And what could be better than, like taking all the sort of industry experience I had and just doing, what I was doing at PwC, trying to solve this problem. And now I have the opportunity to do it. So I said yes.
So there's a great lesson here for any other Insurtech founder. So there are basically two paths to finding fantastic people. Path number one is you can blow their minds, but with the product being incredible, or you can hire Tony to find you the right people. Path number two is a lot easier. Than path number one, especially if the product isn't quite ready. So that's a really cool story.
That was a very subtle plug for you there.
Yeah, very subtle, I know. But by the way, so Alex and I have been kind of doing the same conferences for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So we were at ITC Latam last week in Miami, the first inaugural ITC Latam, and I've never been more impressed by anybody in sales. In the middle of the closing day party, Alex is giving a product demo on his phone in the middle of the Havana Nights party. So like, if that's not hustling,
Yeah.
I don't know what is.
Well, so you got to do what you got to do, right?
For
Tom?
real. Yeah, that's the advantage of hiring long-haired foreign hippies for sales jobs. Okay, so
You just invented a new profile there.
right.
Am I like a second level removed? I have long hair. And my parents are both immigrants.
See, but since you are the, I'm guessing you're an engineer by trade of some sort.
Yep.
Okay, computer science or
So actually neuroscience background, but yeah, data science.
So, by the way, for the listeners, normally I'm recording the episode with a 49-inch screen where I have their LinkedIn pulled up, the company website pulled up, and I can really dig into their background. I have nothing right now. Okay, so you qualify more as like the crazy mad scientist, long hair, more like the guy from Back to the Future. The Christopher Lloyd,
Doc Brown.
Doc Brown, exactly. More that than the hippie long-haired foreign salesperson. Okay. So we're recording this at Insurtech Hartford Symposium. I will get it out fairly quickly, probably early next week. So the listeners will be watching this, let's say May 5th, May 6th. What other conferences will you guys be at? Where can people go to get a demo on the phone or a demo at the booth?
So I'll do the demo on the phone when we go out for drinks
Okay, perfect.
after the conference. But you can find us at Insurtech Insights.
Okay, Insurtech Insights in New York at the Javits Center, and I believe that's June 7 and 8th.
June 7 and 8.
Okay.
And I'm working on an interesting approach, a contest for people to try to break it.
Awesome. So are you ready to officially announce this, rules, price, all that, or
We're still deliberating on the
Okay.
prizes.
so?
Like maybe a lunch with me and Ariel, or
Is that
maybe
valuable?
or a set of cards. I don't know. We're still thinking popcorn. Maybe it's on the list.
Okay, perfect. How long will people have to try to break it?
So they will get 3 questions. And if they can essentially get us to consistently produce the wrong output without any sort of very easy to do what we call prompt engineering, meaning just asking the question a different way.
Yeah.
They get a winner prize.
Okay, that I love that approach. Love that approach. So Insurtech Insights, I'm guessing you don't know your booth number yet, or you don't have it on hand.
Not yet. No,
Okay.
I'm supposed to get my friends at ITI to give me a booth that's not at the very end of the conference space. So we'll see if I can convince them to do that.
Okay, perfect. For those that are not making it to the conference, what is the website where they can learn more about Lazarus?
Yep. You can just go to lazarusai.com.
LazarusAI.com. Okay, LazarusAI.com. When this goes live, I will tag you both on LinkedIn, and I will tag the company also.
Yeah, that's it.
What is important? Okay. What? Actually, let's back out a little. There's a couple questions that I forgot. So number one, what is the integration like?
Oh, well, we're an API, so virtually non-existent. You
Okay.
just plug it in wherever you need it.
So what if we're not API ready?
You should be, but
and much better now that like 7 years ago when we started recording the
So what's the
podcast.
next question, Tony?
Mhm.
What if we don't have money?
so if you're not API ready, you can literally just like pull in something like UiPath or another
Yeah.
one of those RPA platforms, stick it in.
Okay, perfect. So integration is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the pricing model?
So we charge per page, and we have a minimum annual contract value.
Okay.
And it depends on like which model you're using. So we have like
Mhm.
lighter weight models, we have heavier models. It also depends on whether or not you want to run it on our cloud or yours.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So yeah.
Okay, so there's customization. There's a lot of options
Yeah.
on how to integrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay, fantastic. What is next for Lazarus? What do you expect, if you're able to announce it already? What are you expecting we'll be able to do, let's say next year, that it can't do yet this year?
oh, I can't answer that question.
Okay, that's completely understand.
Let's take it like week by week, maybe.
We need to get used to the new rate of advancement that,
Yeah.
that AI is seeing, because it seems that we've hit kind of the elbow of the exponential curve when it comes to how quickly AI is advancing.
You called me mad scientist. Alex has got some mad science ideas himself. That
Yeah. So I mean, I think one of the things that's already started to circulate on LinkedIn that people should expect to see as a product from us is the medical record summarizer, which I would invite all of them to take a look at the actual demo that we have there. It's mind blowing. 50-page medical record summarized in about 42 seconds. I want to say that the model to run, and it organized information by domain.
Okay.
Again, it really doesn't matter what language it's in, because it's also translating it. So it could really be used, across many different, puzzle pieces in terms of like travel services, for example. Get these types of documents in many different languages, many different formats, and they have to make sense of them all. So, that's one product that's really pretty much in production already with a client. So, we're going to start making a bit more, public noise about it. Then, on the roadmap, we'll have semantic search at scale across all the documents in an enterprise. So you can, it's not perfect to say you don't need to digitize it, but that's really truly what it means. You can ask questions of, any of your old documents, and you can, compare, sections. You can ask questions of like, all right, what is this clause like, for these contracts submitted between such and such a date? How does it compare? And you get, a real good answer to work with.
So we talked mostly about health, which is weird because I'm not a health guy, but so this can be used in PNC, it can be used in life.
Absolutely.
Like just off the top of my head, like, is this likely covered, or what are the changes between the old policy and the new policy?
Totally.
or right, like the life insurance policy that we wrote 55 years ago that is now actually being collected on.
That's right.
Right, where like nobody alive remembers how like what this thing says.
Nobody around in those companies to like, even have an idea of what was going on back then, right? So these old systems, the mainframes, and they have a very small percentage of the information that's in the actual contract. And so, to really go ahead and try to bring all that information back into your systems, and nobody knows if there's an ROI there. So now it's possible you just ask questions of it.
Okay. So you said you can run it. We can run it on your cloud. We can run it on our cloud. So will it run on our AS400 that we've been putting duct tape on for the last 26 years?
Maybe not.
It depends how long you live, Tony. It might take you a couple lifetimes to get a response back.
So for the listeners at really traditional companies, if you still have COBOL programmers who can program that thing, and Fortran, then maybe it's a baby.
If you can figure out, if you can find somebody who is still alive at your organization who knows how to do it,
okay,
then you could. It'll work, but it'll be slow.
It'll be slow. Okay. So we would ask it today and like come back next Wednesday, kind of thing.
And it's still
it's still running.
For the listeners, this is a lot of fun. I'm gonna do more like recording at the conferences. Thank you, Alex. This is a wonderful idea. It's something that Nick Lamparelli did years ago at Insurtech Hartford symposium, at the first Insurtech Hartford symposium about 3 years ago. I think 3 or 4 years ago, because we do go way back with IHS, and at that time, like Nick's significantly more formal than I am. It wasn't this fun, but since then, because I've been the main one running the podcast, and I love the conferences, but never think of doing some recording like this in person. I want to do more of this at the conferences. Thank you so much. So for the listeners, if you fall in love with this format, you can thank Alex. And yeah, my pleasure to have you guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Look forward to see how things advance. Normally, what I tell people is we should have you back in a year or two to see how things have advanced. Given the how quickly things move in AI, I feel like we should have it on the schedule to record an update 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
It has been a lot of fun. And also, I really have to say, while the stats say that our listeners are majority carrier people and broker people, I do imagine that we have a significant amount of insurtechs and especially future founders that listen to this. And I love how candid you were, how honest you were with the company was dying, the old model didn't work, and the pivot to like this one tool we had built for this one very specific this very specific purpose. All of a sudden we realized that is the real valuable part of the company.
And that philosophy honestly transpires into how we also talk about the product, and we get people to like try it on. Like you can't really buy a car without like trying it, right? So, you know, we're inviting them to come in, try to break it, play with it, you know, throw it, your real life examples at it.
So at ITC Latam, there was one company, I can't remember who it was, that had a big thing that said the world's first free insurtech. And basically, like I interviewed them, like the first 100 grand that you pass to the platform are free, and then after that, it's a percentage. But if you never get to 100 grand, you never pay anything. So you guys should have a big sign. You probably don't have time to make it in time for insights, unless you hand make it. But a big sign that says something about breaking. Come break our product, right? Come break Lazarus, or right, something like that. Like you
have it on the screen.
You have T-shirts that say "Come break Lazarus," or I don't know. Like there's a lot of really fun stuff here.
And here's the fun part: if you break it, now we know what doesn't work and we can fix it. So it'll never break again that way. Which
no, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Thank you both for your time.
Tony, thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Awesome.